What is the case about? The Miranda versus Arizona case. The case of Ernesto Arturo Miranda. Miranda was arrested at his house on March 13th of 1963. Miranda was convicted of kidnapping and raping an 18-year-old girl. Miranda was taken in for questioning, where he was questioned for 2 hours without a lawyer. Now, Miranda admitted to the accusations through an oral recording and a written confession, which he did indeed sign. This case was taken to the Supreme Court. Now, in the Supreme Court, the confessions were thrown out, and this is due to Ernesto not being told his rights, where he was found not guilty in the question 1.
So the major controversy that surrounded the case was the fact that it went against the Fifth and Sixth Amendment, which basically read that the Fifth Amendment states that no person shall be forced to self-incriminate or basically be a witness to oneself. Basically, they have the right to remain silent. And then the Sixth Amendment reads, a person convicted of a crime has the right to an attorney, and if they cannot afford one, one will be appointed to them. The Miranda versus Arizona case went against this because Miranda wrote his confession without knowing his rights, which became a major issue that eventually appealed to the Supreme Court. Basically, he didn't know his rights, so the controversy was surrounding the fact that if he did know his rights, would the confession even be made in the first place? The rising question for the Supreme Court to answer was, does the Fifth Amendment's protection against self-incrimination extend to the police interrogation of a suspect? The side of the court that said yes it does was Chief Justice Warren. He basically said that the Fifth Amendment should extend to all settings, including interrogation. Since he's saying that prosecution can't use statements from interrogation unless the suspect is fully aware of their right. So he basically believes that Miranda's decision to talk to the police was not of his own free will. He also believes this to be police misleading their suspects into thinking that they have to confess when they really don't. And he thinks this is wrong and that they should be fully aware of what they can do or can't do. This side of the argument believes that suspects shouldn't be informed of their rights. So basically, Justice Clark says that it's an unnecessary restriction that hurts the police's abilities to perform their duties. He believes that statements from interrogation, just because the suspects aren't informed of their rights, they shouldn't be thrown away, because he believes that this would make police interrogation way more difficult than it already is. He's basically stating that the fact that the Fifth Amendment does not stop interrogations, and it should not stop interrogations. With this argument, they're basically saying that the Fifth Amendment should relieve all pressure from the suspect, being that they don't have to say anything. And he also states that there is no legal requirement in the Fifth Amendment to tell criminals of their rights. And using this, informing them of their rights, destroys the credibility of all confessions that anyone makes. And he also states the fact that people should know their own rights and that they shouldn't have to be told their rights. So the resulting decision that comes from this is a 5-4 majority decision for applying Fifth Amendment to all settings. So this in turn creates the Miranda rights, which now means that police have to inform the criminal of their rights while arresting them. This means that they cannot use a confession or anything unless the criminals or suspects were first informed of their rights.
What are the Miranda rights? The Miranda rights say, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Do you understand the rights I have just read to you? With these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me? Modern day. Now, in our modern day society, the Miranda rights have become a very natural practice of police officers. We use our Miranda rights in TV shows, movies, shows such as Law and Order, Criminal Minds, and etc. We see the Miranda rights in movies such as 21 Jump Street, where the officer Jinko said you have the right to remain an attorney. Now, this is obviously wrong, but it shows how our society has become very knowing and knowledgeable of the Miranda rights. The Miranda rights have also been shown in shows like Criminal Minds and Law and Order and etc. Question 3.